Hi, it's Keith from the Keith Speaking Academy, and today I'd like to look at one of the most difficult things for many students in the IELTS speaking test, and that's about not being nervous in the IELTS speaking test. So I want to share with you some tips, ideas, and strategies to help you control your nerves so that you can be much more confident in the IELTS speaking test. Interested? Keep watching. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Keith and I run the Keith Speaking Academy. And my goal is to help you speak better English, give better answers in IELTS, and so get a higher score. I hope the YouTube videos can help you. Do join me, if you haven't already, every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 o'clock Spanish time, because I live in Spain, live lessons on YouTube. I also have an online course. It's on Udemy. There's a link below that might also help you with your IELTS speaking. But let's get into it. Today, being nervous. What's that all about, right? Well, I think there are two things to understand about being nervous. First of all, it's physiological. Ooh, there's a fancy word. Physiological means it's a body reaction, right? So when you have stress or you're in an uncomfortable situation, your body reacts, right? Similar to if it's hot, you sweat. It's physiological. You can't stop it. So when you have stress, right, well, your body reacts, it releases a hormone called adrenaline. Your heart beats faster, your breathing speeds up, you may start to sweat. And although you're alert, it's difficult to focus mentally. And that's part of the problem. But the good news is, right, it's normal, it's natural, it happens to everybody. And if you can control the nerves a little bit, it can really help you. The second thing to notice is that being nervous is temporary. Another fancy word. Temporary means it's for a short time. So it passes quite quickly, right? Once the situation has changed, the nerves will disappear. So it's not there forever. It's also great news. So why is being nervous a problem, right, in IELTS speaking? Well, first of all, because being nervous may force you to speak quietly. You lose your confidence. If you speak quietly, the examiner can't really hear you, and that will affect your score. For many people, they'll speak quickly. They get all nervous and they start going really quickly and blah, 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 blah. That is not good because it will often lead to more mistakes, incoherence, which affects your fluency negatively as well. And also because you're not focusing mentally, you may not listen properly, you may not hear the right question or give the right answer, so you can be off topic. Sometimes happens, and you're not focusing on accuracy at all. So all of this can have a really negative effect in your IELTS speaking. So actually what you want is to control your nerves so that you can speak clearly, at a good pace, focus on accuracy, and give answers which are on topic, answering the question, right? And so get the score that you want. So let's have a look at how we can do that. So I'm going to look at different tips, ideas, and strategies here. They won't all be applicable to everybody. There may just be one or two that you think work for you. So take what works best for you. But let's have a look. Prepare for the worst, but expect the best. So prepare for the worst means think about what's the worst case scenario, right? What's the worst thing that can happen? Right? Are you going to explode and disappear? Are you going to have a heart attack? Probably not. You may get a 6 instead of a 7. Maybe that means I can't apply to university this year, or I can't immigrate this year. I have to wait another year. Oh, that's terrible. And you're feeling sad about that and really, really bad, and maybe even crying about it. But preparing for that and thinking about all of the worst things that can happen, right? And have those and feel those, but then expect the best to happen. It's a question of focus. You have both. The best is that you actually get the score you need, that it goes swimmingly well, you enjoy the test, and you do really, really well. So that will be your focus. The problem for many people is that they focus on the worst, right? Prepare for the worst, and they focus on the worst. Oh, what if that, and what if this? And that's all they're thinking about, and makes them more nervous. So park that over here. You've felt it, you've experienced it, it's there. But you then leave it and you focus on the best. What's really going to be good? What could be the best outcome? And that's where you focus. That change in focus helps control your nervousness. And now tip number 2 is practice being nervous. What? Yes, practice being nervous. So I mean, put yourselves in situations where you're not comfortable, right? So if you're going to conferences or you're in classrooms with other students and teachers, put yourself in situations where you're not comfortable. So for example, asking questions. Normally you sit there quietly, raise your hand, ask a question. If you're at a conference, go and sit at the front, ask a question, go and present at a conference. If you've never had a speaking partner, go and find a speaking partner and feel nervous. Get used to being in uncomfortable situations. Even if you want to go and speak to the guy who sells you vegetables at the supermarket, go and speak to them. Push yourself and practice being nervous. And you'll notice how your body reacts and how you can start to control it and get used to it. Very, very simple, very easy to do. Practice being nervous. Tip number 3 is all about preparation. And being prepared is one of the best ways to tackle nerves, right? Because the more prepared you are, the less nervous you're going to be. So first of all, here's an example, right? I have had a few students who come to me and say, listen, I've done the test or a mock test and I'm band 5. I've got my test now in 2 months' time and my goal is a band 7. And I'm like, that's impossible. You will not go from a band 5 to a band 7 in 2 months. But what you've managed to do is put huge stress on yourself and pressure that's going to make you nervous, and you'll probably end up with a band 4. Seriously, because you've put all this pressure on yourself. So by preparation, first of all, I mean, have a realistic goal. If you want to go from 5 to 7, then book your test in 2 years' time, not 2 months' time, so that you've got time to prepare. In addition, there's preparation for the test, right? So practicing IELTS questions and answers is great preparation. Get familiar with the topics, and then there'll be fewer surprises on the day. That's one thing. The other thing is prepare your general English speaking skills and build up your flexibility, especially if you're aiming for a band 7. One of the keys is flexibility. You have to develop that so that whatever questions come, even strange questions about pens and pencils or fishing, then you can react and be flexible in your use of English to give confident answers. So build up that flexibility help you prepare, be better prepared for the test, and you'll be less nervous. And here are 2 simple things you can do to practice building flexibility. For example, number 1, with a speaking partner, is practice asking each other surprise questions, right? Instead of asking the recent questions that you've been preparing, ask each other surprise questions, maybe questions from years ago or questions you've made up, right? Describe a time you saw a light. That's not one of the questions. No, but describe a time you saw a light. And what it's doing is it's pushing you to build your flexibility, to react to the surprise situation. And then as you build your confidence, you will get less nervous. The second thing you can do is when you're asking each other questions, especially part 1 questions, ask the same question 3 times and give a different answer each time, right? So if you're asking a recent question, what kind of accommodation do you live in? Answer with 3 different answers, not always the same one that you've practiced many times, because that is not flexibility. Being able to give different answers, that's flexibility, and you must have that if you're a band 7 or above. So there you go, couple of tips, practice tips. Let's move on. Tip number 4 is to believe in your English. I talk quite a lot about this, and at risk of being repetitive, it is really important that you take ownership of your English. It's your English. It's you. It's a part of your personality. It's a part of who you are, right? Whether you're band 4 or band 7, it's your English, and it's something, when you have it, you should be proud of it, right? Almost don't think about comparing yourself and being evaluated. Put that aside. Just focus, right, on being proud. This is my English. This is the level I have. I'm proud of it, and I'm going to show the examiner, right? Believe in your English. Right, the next group of tips are things you can do just before the test, right? Almost on test day. One of the most effective ones that I have done, and I do with students sometimes, is, do you remember the game, How to Be a Millionaire, right? Call a friend, where you don't know the answer, you call a friend. Not in the test, no, but before you go into the test, call a friend and just chat to them for a couple of minutes. Say, listen, I'm about to do the test. How are you? And just talking to somebody can be a huge relief, because that isolation before the test, it often makes you start to think more and to think more negatively. And if you can just break that and speak to somebody, call a friend, just say hello, or, ask your friend to encourage you when you call them, or to speak in English or their mother tongue, it doesn't matter. But just have that contact with somebody shortly before the test. It can make a big difference. Now, another kind of trick here is all about posture. Practice posture. Okay, because there is research that shows that your posture reflects your mood, right? And I'm sure you know this, right? If you're being a bit closed, you often sit like that, right? If you're not interested in somebody, you may do that, right? When you're open, we tend to do this. When you're happy, you smile. And there is something called reverse engineering, which is basically that when you smile, it tricks your head or your mind into thinking you're happy. So when you're sad, right, just by going, it actually makes you happy because your mind thinks you're happy, right? If you want to be open to somebody, just standing like this tricks your mind into being open. And the same with posture, right? If you sit straight up, arms or your palms faced out a little bit, like not like that, but like, and if you sit with a strong posture, upright, arms open, it fools your mind or tricks your mind into thinking you're confident, and you will start to be confident, right? If you're not thinking about this, you'll walk into the exam nervous like this, go, oh, hello, Mr. Examiner. And just by changing the posture, it will change your voice and your confidence. It's a very simple trick. It can work maybe at the start to help you get going, but often that's what it's about. It's just starting the ball or getting the ball rolling. The more confident you get, the more confident you get. The next tip is visualization. And this is one that all of the best or the kind of international sports stars use. A lot of singers do it, celebrities do it, politicians do it. Before you have a big event or game where you may be nervous and uncomfortable, before you do that, you work on your head, right? You work on visualizing the positive outcome. So before the test, you go and find a quiet place, or just sit on your chair, close your eyes, and start to imagine the test. You walking in, smiling, sitting down, confident posture, the examiner asking you, and you replying clearly, loudly, and with confidence, right through the test. And then imagine at the end, you're walking out of the room smiling and with a happy that you've done well. And that visualization is very powerful to help you build up that confidence subconsciously, as well as consciously as you walk into the room. So visualize, it can help. The next tip comes from one of those great gurus, Eckhart Tolle. And he says, when you feel nervous, let the nerves be. Do you remember the Beatles, Let It Be? It was a very deep song, and it's about letting everything be. So if you're nervous, don't fight the nerves and go, oh, I shouldn't be nervous. I don't want to be nervous. You can't. Just let it be. Oh, I'm nervous. Okay, that's fine. Oh, I've got this tightness in my stomach. Okay, that's fine. Just let that be. It's okay. And see what happens. And very often there's a change up here that happens, that instead of fighting and getting more nervous, you suddenly relax and accept that feeling. And it can really, really help. Try it out. See in any situation, not just with your IELTS speaking. Try it out. See if it works for you. Rightio. Now the next tip comes from a lady called Tamar Chansky. Is it Tamar? I think it is. Let's call her Dr. Chansky. She's a psychologist. She's a writer as well. She's written some very popular books about controlling anxiety and nervousness. And she has this approach called the 3-3-3 approach. And it's all about, actually, similar to Eckhart Tolle, is about being in the moment or being present now. And she uses this 3-3-3 approach, which is quite interesting, right? So you notice 3 things, and then 3 sounds, and then 3 parts of your body. Okay, so it only takes a few minutes, but wherever you are and you're starting to feel stress or anxiety, you look slowly and carefully at 3 different things. So, for example, you might look at your computer and you look at it quite carefully, almost like you're looking at it for the first time ever, right? And then you look at another object, maybe the table. and you just observe it. And then a third object, maybe the window, maybe your phone. And you spend a few seconds really looking at it. And then listen to 3 different sounds, right? I can hear the traffic. And you really pay attention to the sound, right? And then I can hear the neighbor upstairs. Let your emotions go. Just listen to the sound. They can be so noisy. Oh, and I can hear my wife's footsteps outside. So you listen to 3 sounds and then you focus on 3 parts of your body. Not looking, but feeling. So you may want to close your eyes and feel your hands. It's strange, right? Because you've probably never felt your hands before. You're feeling the energy inside, right? Or you can feel your feet. Feel your leg, your left leg. It's quite interesting, and you get so focused on that thing that your mind stops thinking, right? You can't do both at the same time. And that's how it works. It brings you into the present moment. 3, 3, 3. Just takes a couple of minutes. It can be really effective. From Dr. Chansky, try it out. Next, moving on. Right, so the next group of tips are all things you can actually do on test day in the test, okay? So the first one is focus on communication, not showing off. Now, I know I do talk a lot about showing off your language in IELTS speaking. You want to show the examiner how good you can speak English. Correct. However, in the first 2 or 3 minutes, focus on communication, right? Not showing off fancy language, okay? So, for example, if the examiner asks to tell me about your hometown. Well, I'm from Manchester. It's up in the north of England. It's quite a big city. It's quite a big or famous student city as well, actually, and I really like it. Short, simple, nice, right? And I'm just communicating the way I would speak to somebody at a party if they ask me, right? The problem happens, and the stress and the nerves get worse when you try to show off at the beginning. Tell me about your hometown. Oh, I'm from Manchester, which is located up in the north of England, which is part of Great Britain, which consists of 4 countries: Ireland, Wales, Scotland, England. Manchester is a big metropolis. It's a cosmopolitan city, which has. It goes back to the Industrial Revolution in 1860, right? And what's going on, right? What's going on is you're trying to show off, but you're making mistakes because you're putting so much pressure on yourself to show off and look good, and you're not communicating. And it's just getting worse, right? You're speaking more quickly, making more mistakes, all of those things that happen when you get nervous. So, in the first minute or 2, focus on communication, not showing off. The next tip is share your emotions. And again, in a natural conversation, you want to share your feelings with the examiner, right? Or with whoever you're talking to. Unfortunately, what often happens in the test is students go into something some trainers call exam mode. A board comes down or a wall comes down and you become a bit robotic. I come from Manchester, which is in the northeast of England. It's a very big city. It has been, and you're kind of speaking like a robot, and there's no emotion there. However, when we communicate, you want to show emotion, right? If you love your hometown, let that show. I come from Manchester. It's a lovely city. It's a really big city right up in the north of England. I really like it because, right, you can feel the emotion. I'm quite excited about it and I want to tell you about it. That's going to help communication, fluency, intonation, all of those things. So show your emotion in the IELTS speaking test. Moving on. The next tip is focus on the person, not the examiner. Have you ever met a celebrity? What often happens when you meet a famous person is in your head you have this idea of how amazing and big they are, and you're quite small. It's like, oh my God, it's Elton John, it's Prince William. Oh, and it's amazing, right? And you can hardly speak. But when you meet these people, not all of them, but a lot of them just say, listen, I'm just a person. I'm just like you. I'm a normal person here in front of you, right? And it's true, of course, they are a celebrity for a reason. But if you can also focus on the person in the test, not thinking it's an examiner, it's a professional from another country, high level, I'm very low. No, it's a person, right? And just focus on communicating again with this person. Try and get that focus, again, focus, and it can help reduce your nerves. Next. Okay, the next tip is 3 simple words: breathe, smile, enjoy, right? Breathe, because when you're nervous, often your breathing speeds up and sometimes you forget to breathe, right? And that's not good. So at the start of each answer, you can just pause and take a deep breath, right? Tell me about your hometown. Okay, so I come from Manchester, and that's absolutely fine. You can pause, take a deep breath, helps the oxygen get to your head, and it really, really helps. Breathe. Smile, because as I said before, when you smile, you trick your brain, but also what happens when you smile at people? Normally, people smile back at you, right? Normally. So when you smile, you create a bit of a rapport with this person in front of you, and it helps communication. So smile and enjoy, seriously, enjoy the test. Now, some students go, what, are you kidding me? I hate tests. How can I possibly enjoy it? It's all a question of focus and attitude. That if you think about enjoying it, your whole body changes, your physiology changes, psychology will change. And just think about enjoying the test, and it really can help you relax. I'm going to enjoy this, come what may, right? And the final tip. This is a very quick tip, but do remember, actually, most examiners and most people who interview you, right, for whatever, want you to do well. They want you to show the best side of you, right? Most examiners want you to succeed. They want you to show how good your English is, right? They're not really setting traps, trying to trick you or catch you out. No, most of them just want you to communicate and show off your English, right? Remember that. Focus on the person, focus on communication, show your emotion, and remember they want you to to succeed, maybe to exceed expectations, right? So that's it. And so there you have it, a whole bunch of exciting tips and strategies to help you control your nerves in the IELTS speaking test. If you've got your test coming up soon, I really wish you the best of luck. Try out these tips, see if they work. Try them out in your everyday life as well, not only for IELTS speaking. That's it. Remember, if you want to learn with me, I've got these live lessons for free on YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 o'clock Spain time. Check the link below. If you want more, check out my course, my online course on Udemy. Links below as well. If it's right for you, go for it. Great. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this, do like it. Leave me a comment below. Do subscribe. And also turn on notifications so you can watch upcoming videos as well. That's it. Thank you very much. Take care now. All the best. Bye-bye.